Coffee break with me. Woohoo! Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. How are you today? Today I'm here with a video that's not very beauty or lifestyle related. In fact, it's just a Q&A. Now, a long time ago, exactly a month ago, I posted this on my Instagram and I told you guys, ask me a question. It's been a while. Now, I'm not gonna go in order. I'm not going to answer all the questions. I'm simply just gonna pick and choose and answer questions randomly. I feel like it's important to do these every so often, maybe twice a year or less. It's important because you see a different aspect or view to vloggers that you watch on the daily basis, you know, whether they're beauty vloggers or gamers or ghost hunters or whatever they are. These are important because you see a different view or mindset, I guess, on what they think about things. I'm gonna try my best to answer as many as I can without my camera overheating. So this video will definitely be long. I don't know if I'll include timestamps because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some really juicy questions in here. But you'll probably timestamp for each other because let's be honest, y'all do that. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is from ARZN0317. That's a really cute thumbnail picture, girl. What part of Mexico is your family from? So my dad's from Tijuana and my mom is from Aguascalientes. And then Stevie Nicole says, who was your childhood celebrity crush? Well, first it was AC Slater. And then when I was in middle school, it was David Boreanaz. And now that David Boreanaz is in that show, what is it called? SEALs? Is it SEALs or SWAT or something? It's totally about military and he's like super buff in a uniform all the time. Hello. I'm like, oh God, I don't think he's a childhood crush anymore. He's like a present day crush. When I react like this is when I really hope that no one ever sees my reaction because it's a little embarrassing. Then Miss Makeup Musing 1222 says, what is your favorite type of coffee to drink? I'm actually not very picky. I prefer to steep my coffee, you know? I prefer to grind my own beans, but let's be honest, my kids are very little. So right now, I would literally open a K-cup and chew the grinds. I just love the way coffee tastes, so I'm never gonna turn down coffee. I especially love like diners, like hole-in-the-wall diner type coffee, or even McDonald's has really good coffee. Dunkin' Donuts has good coffee. But when I go to Target, and I just get my everyday like K-cups, I get Folgers Black Silk and oh goodness, what's the other one? Why can I not remember? You guys. All right, moving on. Cecilia S says, would you ever consider using only brands that are cruelty-free? Absolutely. I consider it every day. I think about it all the time. Not even just cruelty-free. I feel like my focus would be more for green beauty. There's this new green beauty store that opened up in Dallas that I'm dying to go to, and I feel like what I'm gonna do in the upcoming year is do a vlog style haul and head over to that store. I don't remember what it's called, and I don't want to leave this screen because if I do, then I'm gonna have to scroll again through all the comments. I'll insert a picture of the shop that I'm telling you guys about, but all it has is clean beauty products. So they'll probably be cruelty-free. I would assume it just goes hand in hand, but they are free of all toxins. So only like approved ingredients that are safe for the body is what. So I'm guessing they're gonna have like RMS and brands like that. K Infinity says, do you miss California? You know what, I don't. I miss my family and my friends, but actual California, the only thing I miss is the food. That's the only thing I miss, which is why when I go back home, all I do is eat. Nothing else. I don't go shopping, I don't go sightseeing, I don't go to the beach, I just eat. But it's definitely hard to be, you know, a 3-hour flight away from any of my family. It gets really hard, especially around the holidays if I'm by myself or like my birthday or things like that. But you know, my home is here now and I'm very blessed, and Texas has been so good to me and I actually feel at home here. Long Tall Lawson says, how did Ernesta get the nickname Mern? I have no idea. I have no idea how her nickname Mern came about, but she even has a song, and every time my best friend Sam comes, like we sing it to her and she just looks at us like, it's like, oh, Mern. She knows knows. She just knows that's her song now, but I'm also sure she likes it very much. Amy S5491 says, what are your favorite TV shows and movies? My favorite movie of all time is Love Actually. So come the holiday season, it's always on TV. I have to watch it. I don't care if it's halfway started, there's only 20 minutes left. It just got, Love Actually is my favoriteest movie in the whole world. Serendipity is close second. Dumb and Dumber is probably third. Clearly, I have a very exquisite taste in filmography. Is it filmography? Is it? Maybe? I don't know. And then TV shows, anything that's like crime related, like Forensic Files and Snapped, I love those shows. I also love anything that is in the Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Law and Order SVU, SVU, shows like that. I'm not a big fan of reality TV, but I do DVR a lot of like funny sitcoms, like the new one with Joey, Matt LeBlanc. I really like that one. I also like Big Bang Theory, although it's getting really boring now that everyone's all married. Oh my God, what is that? The show about being a mom in that like that really ritzy part of town. What is it called? Something Wife. You guys, I'm the worst with this. I'll insert a picture. If you haven't seen it, it's hysterical. I love her. I love her. I loved her in Mike and Molly when she was a stoner older sister. Now in this show, she deserves to be in the spotlight. Let me just put it that way. Love Zaylee says, where do you get your style and makeup influences from? Most of my influence probably came from my mom growing up, and it wasn't a specific style as opposed to a mentality or a confidence, you know, that she instilled in me. My mom was the lady that had a full face of like glam makeup at 7 in the morning making our lunches. She was someone that was always reading The Vogue. That's what we would call it, The Vogue. We were broke as heck, but we got The Vogue. And so she kind of instilled this feminine pride, you know, in me since I was little, and just having that self-care for yourself and making yourself feel better from the outside in, and not allowing other people's opinions on your preference in certain things to determine your style. So my mom was always trying new things. She was always making clothes, like she would sew, make her own patterns and stuff. And I still remember her making really embarrassing outfits for me. Now I just look back and I really love it. You know, it was kind of a learning curve for me when I got married, because, you know, I was always being told that like my taste in things was tacky or too much. Like, do you guys remember my statement necklaces? I love bright colors. I've always loved like that really hot pink, like super hot pink lip or red lips, bright eyeshadow. Like I've always, color for me equals happiness, and it's a way of expressing my happiness. And so it just was really, it made a really good impression on me growing up with a mom like I had, because ultimately I was able to remember what makes me happy when it comes down to my personal taste in fashion and makeup, you know? So I honestly, like when I get comments about like my blush is too bright or my lips are too big or I shouldn't wear orange lipstick or whatever, I'm like, it's on my face, you know? So ultimately, if it makes you happy and you want to wear glitter on your eyelids, then do it. If you want to wear colored mascara, do it. If you want to clip in hot pink extensions, do it. You're not affecting anyone by making those choices. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with anyone else. Katerina Little Kitchen says, what type of lighting and monitor do you use for your videos? And by the way, the link for your Kettle doesn't work. The Kettle is linked in almost all my vlogs. It's like a $20 Hamilton Beach kettle from Amazon, but I'll link it in this video as well. And then lighting, I use 2 umbrella lights from Amazon. It's cowboy lighting. I think both of them were like $40. And then I have a Diva ring light from Supernova. It's not the expensive one. I think mine was $200 or $300. Was it? Or even cheaper. And then the monitor I use is a Samsung external monitor from Best Buy. It was very affordable, and the only reason I got it was because it's HDMI compatible. So my camera, you guys know, doesn't have a Viewfinder. So I actually filmed, this is the same camera that I used when I started my YouTube channel. It's the same one, and I don't think I'll ever replace it unless it needs to be, knock on wood, I hope it never breaks. But I don't have a viewfinder, so I used to actually film in front. I would put like a standing, like one of those stand-up mirrors, like those $10 mirrors from Walmart that you like prop against a wall or hang behind a door. I would just stand it behind my camera so that I could see what I was actually doing, but it was in reverse, so it was super confusing. Now with this, I can like look and make sure that I'm in frame, which, you know, it's a little distracting sometimes, but I think I do a pretty good job at not looking at it as much. Life with 3 Kids 29 says, how are you available to handle good co-parenting? How are you available to handle good co-parenting with your ex? It doesn't hurt you to give the kids to him on the weekends. I have 3 and I'm in the middle of trying to fix my marriage, but if it doesn't work out, I don't think I can handle giving the kids to him so well. You know, the funny thing is that I have been ridiculously blessed by the partner that I chose to have children with. As a father, he is impeccable. He is absolutely responsible. He's a great dad. He shows up for the kids. He encourages them to be emotionally healthy. He believes in their big dreams. You know, he entertains their wild goals and stuff like that. And it's hard because as a weekend dad, he's like Disneyland dad. He gets to do all the fun stuff. He gets to go to Legoland and take them to birthday parties and things like that. And I don't think it's his fault. I think that's what you do on the weekends, you know, and this schedule is what worked out for us. You know, I work from home. I can work anytime, any place, from wherever. He has a very demanding job. He is an amazing, very young corporate executive. He's doing so well in his field. And he needed this type of agreement. Like he needed this arrangement. And for me, it's not a big sacrifice, you know. Sure, I get lonely on the weekends sometimes if I don't have stuff to do and there's birthday parties that I wish I could take them to, and you know, I've missed out on holidays that end up landing on the weekends and things like that. But at the end of the day, he's a good dad. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I never worry when they're with him. Never. There is not an ounce of me that is worried or scared that something's gonna happen to them. You know, he's just a great dad. Co-parenting is hard because he and I don't necessarily get along that well. We're not friends. But at the end of the day, I feel like both of us are great parents, and at the end of the day, that's probably gonna bring us together. So I am hopeful and I'm optimistic, and I care about him very dearly. And I think ultimately we'll get to a place where, you know, we're okay. Ely, E-E-L-L-I-I 1234 says, I know you say you're almost 6 feet, but exactly how tall are you? I'm 5'11". Sassy Viri says, what advice do you have for someone that is thinking about divorce? None. None whatsoever. I don't get involved. I do not want any part of your decision making. You just know. You know when it's time. Something's gonna happen. Your child will ask you something. Something will happen. You'll just know. You know, you've always known. You know, and that's all I'm gonna say. You just know. You know, it doesn't matter what happens, what's occurred, how long you've been living with something. You and your heart and your brain and your stomach just knows. So don't ignore yourself. You know, honor and respect your feelings and honor them. You'll know. I promise you, you'll know. Sophia McHenry 05 says, I need a new foundation. What would you recommend? I think it depends on your style of base products, like what you're into. The 3 face products from Collab are amazing. I actually don't use one standalone because I feel like the matte one is very matte, so it's perfect for super oily skin. And then the dewy one is very dewy. It's very good for people with dry skin. And then the skin tint is just right, like Goldilocks over here. So Collab has 3 face products. Let me show you guys. Meet Your Matte is the matte velvet one in this like smoked glass bottle. Then there is the Bright Spark foundation, which is the one in the shiny glass bottle. And then you have the Oh So Fresh Skin Tint. The one that I like to use is the Oh So Fresh Skin Tint. I'll use it on its own, or I'll mix it into the Meet Your Matte Velvet Foundation. I don't use any of them, like I said, standalone, because I feel like I'm that person that has like the boring, normal skin, and so I don't need the super matte. I also don't need the super dewy. But I guess you could identify with which one would work best for you. Angie Ren Jacobo says, favorite Mexican food, and do you ever plan on doing a meetup in Houston? Mexican food, that's a hard one. I love bistec ranchero. I love pozole. I love sopes. And frijoladas is probably like my favorite comfort food. What else? Menudo. Menudo's my jam. Pan dulce, does that count? That's kind of a dessert, but you know, it's pan dulce. White conchas are my favorite. And then a meetup in Houston. Houston is so close. I feel like I should just go to Houston to be in Houston, you know? So I'd love to. If a company that I'm already a fan of approaches me with the opportunity to be in Houston for whatever reason, I mean, I'm obviously gonna say yes. Like, I won't even think about it and be like, Houston, I'll see ya, you know? Miss Sanchez 13 says, do you plan on moving back to California? Never. Pink Purple Dot says, how do you handle being a single mom and staying sane on those days the kids drive you insane? What's your go-to relaxed 5-minute mommy time essential for those days? Jesus. I feel like Mondays are probably the hardest day of the week for me, because they're the day that my sons come back, and they're the day that I hear, I don't have to do that at my dad's house. My dad doesn't make me do that at his house. I don't do that with my dad, you know? And so it's that adjustment process from going from one home to the next. So it's trying for me, because I have to remain unbiased and grounded and not take it personally. I feel like it was hardest for me to not take things personally. You know, like, my sons prefer to be with their dad because he's cool and he's a boy, and they like do karate and talk about superheroes. And in my house, I run a very tight ship. I have the Monday through Fridays. I have to do the lunch and the homeworks and the projects and taking them and shuttling them to extracurriculars and things like that. So I'm not the fun parent, you know, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay. I was raised on the idea that a parent is supposed to be a parent, not a friend. If I'm not my children's favorite right now, I'm okay with that, as long as they respect me. So when they're driving me absolutely crazy, bonkers, bananas, I let them know that they need to kick it down a notch. And we have some quiet time. So we'll do like quiet time. I'll say like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to read my book. So you guys have to, for a little while, each of us is going to pick our favorite book, and we'll just sit here for 10-15 minutes. And I literally just sit there and stare at a book, because I can't actually concentrate on reading it. My oldest loves to read. My youngest loves anything with animals on it. So he'll get his picture book and he won't stop talking. But, you know, at least it's a little bit of a regrouping moment. Another thing that I like to do is hide in the pantry. And I'm an emotional eater. So if my kids are driving me crazy, I will hide in the pantry and I will shove my face with like Almond Joys or Reese's Cups or whatever sugar carbs I can get my hands on. It actually helps. You guys, I hate to give that as advice, but it actually helps. Ara-Ooze006 says, is it okay to cry your eyes out when you're hurting so much, but how much is too much? Please help. That's kind of a loaded question. Too much might be too much for some, might be not enough for others. You know, when is too much? If you notice that you're crying for attention, or that you're crying to get someone to notice or to elicit a response out of someone, or you're crying and you're not feeling any better afterwards, then that's probably too much, I would say. But I'm a big crier. Like, I'll cry during the ASPCA commercial. I'll cry when I'm angry. Like, I don't lash out when I'm mad. I cry. I cry when I'm trying to express my feelings, when I'm frustrated. I think it's very healthy and cathartic to cry, but I think you know when enough is enough, and when you've been, instead of allowing yourself to express yourself, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to recover from whatever is making you sad. So I feel like when you're sad, it's safe to honor your feelings, and it's safe to park yourself in sadness, but it's never okay to unpack. You know, Never unpack and live there. Honor it, visit it, but don't live there. Karen Racine says, what would you say has been the hardest and the easiest part of being single again? What are the things you enjoy doing by yourself when you don't go out? And do you like cats? So let's start backwards. I love cats. I think they're adorable, but they don't like me. I've never met a cat that actually likes me. They get really uncomfortable around me. I don't know why. I don't know what that says about me. And then what are the things you enjoy doing by yourself when you don't go out? At home, I will just sit on the couch with a warm blanket and like hold my dogs or do like a little photo shoot with my dogs. Like, it sounds weird, like I'm like a crazy dog lady, but I am. I also do enjoy cleaning my house. I enjoy reorganizing, whether it's a cabinet or my pantry or my closet. I super enjoy to clean out my closet. I can't tell you, like at least once a month I go through and I just get rid of a ton of stuff, whether it's shoes, outerwear, clothes, stuff that I haven't worn, stuff that makes my butt look flabby or whatever. Cleaning out my closet, I love doing that. And I actually can't do that when my children are around. I feel like I need to concentrate when it comes down to organizing. So I like save it up for when they're with their dad and then I like look forward to it. I know it's weird. So the easiest part of being single again is grocery shopping, because my ex-husband was actually very particular with his snacks and his food and the things he liked and he didn't like. So grocery shopping was always like, oh, well, I enjoy that, but I have to get that for him. And there's no sense in getting it. There's no sense in getting 2 different kinds of milk. There's no sense in getting 2 different types of chips, one for him and one for me. So I would just eat the same stuff he would eat just to make it easier and so we wouldn't have to spend double, you know? So that's the easiest. Now I go grocery shopping or like furniture shopping or houseware shopping or a lamp shopping or whatever, and I don't need an opinion. Like I don't need to ask, like, what do you think about this lamp? Because he and I were different in every regard. In taste in music and clothes and in furniture and color schemes, we were just complete opposites. So it was like, we could never really agree on furnishing or anything like that. So now when I go out, I'm like, I'm gonna wear this polka dot and pom-pom sweater and no one's gonna say And the hardest is probably the days where I don't want to be alone, but I don't have a choice but to be alone, you know, because I'm in a big city all by myself, and I've been so blessed enough to make really great friendships, but my friendships have families of their own and things to do and plans to do. So I'm the single girl that I just can't call up and be like, yo, let's go have some tacos or run errands with me, because they have to kind of plan ahead for these things because they have kids or husbands or jobs that require them to leave their house, you know? So when I initially got divorced, and this is kind of like an emo moment, when I initially got divorced, I started to have panic attacks. And that was something that I couldn't assimilate because I've never suffered from any sort of anxiety, like social anxieties or any sort of like emotional, I almost want to call them like emotional disabilities, you know, because they prohibit you from functioning. And so I started to get panic attacks at night, right before bed, where my sons weren't there and I was all by myself. And I remember I would dread setting my alarm because I knew that setting my alarm meant it was nighttime and I had to go to bed by myself, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe so bad that I thought I was going to die. It's just such a hard thing to explain. You know, I couldn't breathe. I could not calm myself to a point where I could breathe. And I was like, if something happens to me right now, no one's gonna find me. I'm all by myself, you know? And this was at a point where I didn't have friends yet. I wasn't established. You know, I hadn't transitioned to a single woman with friends that dated. I was just by myself. I hadn't online dated yet. I was just alone, you know? And I would call my best friend Sam. You know, it was like 10 or 11, so it was an hour past, you know, it was an hour ahead because she's on the East Coast. And I was like, I can't breathe, Sam. And I would just say, I can't breathe. I need to call 911, you know? And I'm so embarrassed, you guys. I'm never embarrassed to cry in front of you guys. You've seen me cry a million times in my vlogs. It's just this topic, you know? I just thought I was so good with it. And I guess thinking about it still makes me sad, you know, because you never get married with the mentality that it's not going to work out. You always get married with the mentality that it's going to be forever. Anyway, so I would call my friend Sam and she'd kind of talk me through it. And it worked, you know, it worked to have someone that shows up for you in your like darkest moments. So I guess that was the hardest part, is like readjusting or relearning to be alone. And I think what made it hardest for me was that I went from living at home with my parents. Culturally, you know, my parents are very classic traditional Mexican parents. So I wasn't allowed to move away for college. I wasn't allowed to spend overnights anywhere. I wasn't allowed to, I never had a boyfriend that I moved in with. I left my house to marry my ex, and I just never was alone. And so going from that to being divorced and being completely alone in a city with no one that I knew was very scary. That's definitely the hardest part. I mean, you can tell I still get emotional thinking about it. Sandra G 1994 says, do you see yourself getting any matching tattoos with your bestie in the future? Oh my God, when we were in Vegas for my birthday, I was like, I have one tattoo, I regret getting it, but I would definitely get a tattoo with Sam, because I feel like Sam is probably one of the very few constants in my life. You know, like we joke around about being the Notebook couple and like dying together and like eventually moving to the same city to be closer to each other because we're just that close. You know, she's one of the biggest parts of my life. She's family at this point. And so when we were in Vegas, I was like, let's get matching tattoos. But my idea was with white ink, because you could still see it, but it's not so visible to the naked eye. And Sam's like, I am white ink. I am a white tattoo. It's not gonna show up on me. It's just gonna hurt. And I was like, oh man. So that idea went out the window. So probably not, because I don't want any more tattoos that are like very visible. I have one down my side. I've already had a few laser treatments on it and it's not going away. So I'm thinking about considering like this reverse tattoo that they do, where they like tattoo over it in like white and then they tattoo over it again in nude to just kind of camouflage it. Honestly, at this point, I think I have to learn to love it again. Kayla Styles 50 says, are you dating anyone new? I'm always going on dates. I just can't find someone that I can imagine having a long-term relationship with. And it's funny because once you have children, you don't just date for yourself. You know, like I'll go out with a guy and I really enjoy his company and he's perfect on paper and we have so much chemistry, but he's like, I want my own family, I want my own family, I want my own family. And I'm not ready for that. Like I feel like I would be betraying my own kids, or like it would just be weird. And then I meet someone that I really like that has his own children and we go on one date or two dates and then he's like, I love you. Like, I love you, Dani, I love you. I love you. You know, and I'm like, whoa, you don't know me, so you can't love me. And I fall fast and hard. I meet someone and I know right away if I want to be in a relationship with them. However, if someone meets me and after 2 dates loves me, they just want a relationship. They don't want a relationship with me because they don't know everything about me or even a small fraction of me to be able to love me. You know what I mean? So I don't want someone to pick me because they want a relationship. I want someone to pick me because they're like, I like that raspy voice you get when you're sick. I like that you pout when you're mad. I like that you yell at me in Spanish when you're frustrated. You know, I like that you are obsessed with cheeseburgers and donuts. I need a crazy dog lady in my life. Like I want them to choose to be with me every day. And that's really hard to find, especially in Texas. I'm definitely not Texas flavor. I hate to complain about dating because, you know, I can go on dates. It's just, it's so tricky. You know, online dating has really messed with my psyche and it's really messed with the power balance of how natural and organic, you know, couples or relationships should start. So it's definitely something that I take breaks from very often. Scarlett Marlene says, did you already go to your oncology appointment? And if so, I hope everything turned out okay. Yeah, so I've kind of felt like poop all this year, this entire year. For those of you that don't watch my vlogs, it's a little mini summary. I've been feeling pretty all 2017. I got several infections. I had to go to urgent care a few times. It's been tough. I'm not a big complainer when it comes to stuff like that, but since I started vlogging, I thought I just would, you know, lace it in because that's what's actually happening. So my doctor referred me to hematology. A hematologist reviewed my labs and sent me to oncology. So I got a bunch of labs done with an oncologist, and what was most alarming is that my white blood cells, or like my white platelets, were very, very, very high. My red blood cells were very, very low. And my iron levels were at a 5, whereas they should have been between 50 to 60 for someone of my age, height, weight, you know, gender, whatever. So it wasn't looking too good. Like, it was kind of scary just on paper with your labs, like what it would be. So I went to oncology, I got a bunch of tests done, and my schedule with the boys wasn't conducive to actually get my results sooner rather than later. And then my Vegas trip kind of got in the way, so I waited a lot longer than I needed to for my results. Well, the end result is that I have severe chronic anemia from iron malabsorption, which means that I've gone untreated as anemic for much too long, that my body has unlearned how to absorb iron, and my proteins aren't linking to it. So my iron reserves and my free-flowing iron in my body are at a 5 to 6 level, which is very bad. And it's like I'm anemic on 2 different fronts. My free-flowing blood is from my period because, you know, I get it once a month, and I've always had a horrendously heavy cycle. I mean, for 7 days it's heavy. And then the iron reserves are from me not being able to absorb iron. So, I mean, there are solutions that I could try, like birth control, which I can't. There's other things like a hysterectomy, which I'm only 33, and I don't know what my future holds. So the doctor said that in order for me to see a significant improvement in the way I've been feeling, I need to go in for several sessions of iron infusions, which are about 4 to 5 hour IV treatments in a recliner with other people that, you know, are much more sick than I am. And I am absolutely terrified of having to do that. I'm terrified of doing it because I'll be by myself. I'm terrified of doing it because I'm gonna feel sick afterwards and probably no one's gonna take care of me. I'm terrified of doing it because I'm gonna be surrounded by people that are much sicker than I am, and I'm not gonna be able to, I'm gonna have a really hard time to not worry for them. You know, it's just my compulsion, I can't help it. And so I'm very scared. After I have these infusions, we'll have to do a recheck, and if my iron reserves aren't higher, then we have to investigate further because I might have an internal bleed somewhere in my body, like a consistent bleed, which is why my iron levels are so low. At that point, it would be more of like an endoscopy type test to see where the bleed is. It could be like an ulcer or something going on in like my GI tract, even in my throat, whatever. In my heart, I feel like it's just my anemia, you know, and I feel like it's time to actually confront it and handle it in a more intensive way. So that's my oncology update. Chris AVP says, your home always looks so tidy and neat. What are some tips and tricks for maintaining your home in order while being a mommy? By the way, you're such an inspiration. Oh, thank you. I've always been like of the mentality of not until later. So like if I walk by and I take my shoes off, I'm not gonna take my shoes off and leave them there. Take my shoes off and put them away. If I finish laundry, I'm not gonna leave it in the dryer. I'll hear the buzzer and I'll do it in that moment. I'll put it away. If I'm doing something or something that requires my attention or making dinner for the boys, there's an exception. But if I use a mug and I'm drinking coffee and I go put it in the sink, I don't put it in the sink. I rinse it and I put it in the dishwasher. So it's almost like this cycle of consistent upkeep as opposed to I'll do it later, I'll do it when I have time, or I'm too tired. You know, I don't allow myself that. Do I have my off days? Absolutely. In fact, these last few months, I've actually let the dishes pile up, or my bed has gone undone for a week. You know, I'll change the sheets and it'll be undone for the entire week until I change the sheets again. So I'm not super strict, but I am, you know, consistent. I don't take off my shoes and leave them. I don't take off my clothes and just drop it on the floor. I'll go put it in the hamper. If I take off a shirt, I change my mind, I don't want to wear it, I'll hang it back up. I don't just drop it on the floor. It drives me insane when I see people that just like take stuff off and like, it's like a snail trail. You know what I mean? Like I can't live that life, you guys. Miss Serendipitous says, do you ever feel self-conscious about being so tall? And do you ever feel weary of wearing heels for a date? I love your channel. Thanks. I used to be self-conscious about my height when I was little because I would get teased a lot and beat up and whatever. But now that I'm a grown-up, I love being tall. Like, I can't even tell you. I am in love with the fact that I'm tall. I love it. I live for it. I wouldn't want my life any other way. However, men in Texas, when they see Latina, they want the short, petite Latina that's gonna break dishes and yell at them in Spanish. I'm sorry, you're not getting that from me. So men here aren't very responsive to being so tall. Does that make me stop wearing heels? No. Does that make me wear flats on a date? No. I've had guys ask me, hey, for a first date, can you wear flats just so I can see how tall you are? I don't go on the date. I'm sorry. Like, I'm tall, I dress a certain way, I prefer certain shoes, and if that's something that makes you uncomfortable, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. You know what I mean? So if we're in a committed relationship and we've been together for a few weeks or months and you think I look cute in flats, that's great. I'll wear them from time to time, but me, who I am and the way that I prefer to dress, I love heels. Whether it's a wedge or a block heel or a stiletto, I love heels. And if me being 6'2" or 6'3" in heels is gonna cause a problem, guess what? There are bigger problems in this world, and one of them is gonna be that you're not dating me anymore. Well, sassy Dani for a minute. Sorry, guys. Let me put her away for a second. Amku107 says, do you think the Drunk Elephant Shaba Serum is working? I'm on my second bottle and wondering if I should repurchase. I would say yes. I've gone through probably like 4 or 5 bottles already. I do this a lot when I smile. I don't know if you guys can tell. Like, I smile with my whole face. Like, if I smile, I even clench my butt cheeks. Like, that's how hard I smile. So I've looked the same for the last, I would say, 2 years. So if it's not working, then I have really good genetics, because I don't feel like I've gotten any wrinklier. I feel like I've stayed the same. So maybe it's not good at reversing the signs of aging, but it's definitely preventing them. I'm definitely a fan, and I'm gonna keep repurchasing it until I notice that maybe something's different with my skin, or it's not responding to it anymore. Brooklyn P says, tell us how you got all of your dogs and why you decided to name them. I need to do like a whole separate dog video where I talk about their age, their breed, their names, how they came into my life, all of their illnesses and why they're special needs. Like, they need their own video. But for those of you that don't know, I have 4 dogs. A Chihuahua, a Heeler, a Schnoodle, and a Westie, and they're all special needs. They all have something wrong with them. They all take medications at different times, and it's a whole ordeal, but I wouldn't have it any other way. They're amazing. They actually were my therapy through my divorce. Like, they kept me sane and hopeful. You know, they loved me when no one else did, and I'm forever indebted to them. Like, I will always take care of them, which is probably why I spend so much money on a dog behaviorist and keep my 2 girls separate from murdering each other. Wow. Crystal Sepulveda 21 says, what is your favorite creamer for your coffee? I like dairy products, like I eat cheese, sour cream, and all that stuff. My actual favorite coffee creamer is the almond hazelnut from Silk, I believe. I'll insert a picture. My Target is always out of it. I have to go hunt it down. It's the only almond milk creamer that doesn't taste like paper or armpit. Let me tell you guys, like, almond milk creamers are so gross, but I do love my creamer from time to time, and if I'm gonna spoil myself with calories, it better taste good. So the hazelnut one is delicious. I'm obsessed. I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, yum, 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 coffee. My friend Paralegal IP, are you on Twitter anymore? Yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like I told you, this year has been very rough for me. I feel like I have my spoon in every pot, but I'm not being able to stir any of them. You know, I'm doing so much and I'm not doing a good job on anything. So things fall to the wayside, like Snapchat, like Twitter. It's very hard for me to be able to do everything that I've been doing when I don't feel well. You know, I'm sick. I don't feel well. It's been holding me back. And the entirety of my energy and my oomph and my gusto is going to be to being a mom, and to being a mom of 2 boys that are very high energy and 4 dogs that are special needs. That's where my energy goes. So things that have fallen to the wayside are my Snapchat and my Twitter, but I'm actually a lot more active on Instagram now because I do post on Instagram. It's where I do my daily affirmations, and it's so much easier for me to use Insta stories because it's kind of like already there, you know? So before I would have to go into Snapchat and do Snapchat separately and then check in with that and then do my Instagram and then go back and reply to Twitter. It's just, I can't do all of it right now. I'm going to, and I'm going to try my best, but right now I can't do it. So I am on Twitter, but everything that you see on Twitter is gonna be something that funnels from Instagram or funnels from YouTube. It's not something that I go in and actively post. Tiffany Dawn Mad for Makeup says, how do you deal with negative comments on your videos? Not that I see many, but I have a channel and I'm curious what your take is on this. When I started my channel 4 years ago, I would respond to all of them. I would be and I was snappy and I would eviscerate them with a response, and it was the worst decision that I've probably made in my entire YouTube career, because I was taking them personally. And what I wasn't aware of is that it wasn't personal. You know, these people don't know me and I don't know them. So their comment was unfounded and baseless. And by me reacting to it, I was giving strangers the importance that they didn't deserve. You know, so what people say about me says everything about them. What I respond to them says everything about me. So at this point in YouTube, you guys don't see negative comments because I remove them. I monitor all my comments. It is a full-time job, but anytime that I see a negative comment, I remove it. Why? Because flies flock to a turd. You know what I mean? And if I leave a bad comment, it's gonna give people the impression that they have a thread to start. And they can jump in and they can keep this thread going and like rant away about how bad they hate me and how annoying I am and how much they wanna kill me or whatever, you know? So I monitor my comments. And I monitor them primarily because you guys come here and generously give me your time. The least I could do is protect you guys from negativity. You come here to talk about beauty. You come here to see my dogs. You come here to laugh and have a good time. The least that I could do is be a good host and remove any of that negative that is clouding our space. You know what I mean? So you have to remember that you need to take people's opinion as just that, an opinion. They don't know you, so it's completely unfounded. And the only opinions that carry weight are the opinions from people that you value and esteem. If this person is important to you, then their opinion should matter. If you don't know who this person is, what do you care what their opinion is? You know, because ultimately, do they matter to you? Then they can say whatever they want. And I think ultimately, you guys, let's keep it real. I'm a businesswoman. If you're gonna come on my channel and leave me a negative comment, you had to click on an ad, so thank you for your patronage. I mean, right? No? All right. Andrew Vladigas 0327 says, what has been your biggest accomplishment of 2017? I really like that one. I think my biggest accomplishment was probably taking control of my health. You know, admitting to myself that I didn't feel well and that I needed to do something about it. You know, I'm the kind of person that sweeps things under the rug, whether it's someone that hurts my feelings, an uncomfortable conversation that I don't want to have, someone that, you know, mistreats me or isn't loyal to me or does sort of shady side-eye stuff, and I just kind of let it slide, because I'm very non-confrontational. And so with my health, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm cool, I got this, I'm fine, I'll be okay. But finally I was like, I'm sick. I don't feel well. I need to do this for my kids. You know what I mean? So I started going to the doctor and getting all this under control. So I feel like I had a moment of personal growth where I realized that I need help. You know, I need help, whether it's support or a doctor, or to verbalize that I can't do it all on my own. And it's okay. It's absolutely okay. I don't always have to be the mayor of Tough Guy City. You know what I mean? Beautyforgood.net says, it would be great to get an update on how your dogs are doing. I never did the update. So Ernesta, my healer, is the one that, she goes to doggy day camp or doggy daycare twice a week. She plays with her friends, gets her energy out, sometimes more than that. But I'm not ready yet to bring everyone together. When I travel, go out of town, or I'm going to be gone for an extended period of time, Mr. Pitt or Rafael comes and takes all 4 of them, keeps them together. They all play together. They're all in the same room together. They all eat together, and they're fine. But when I'm with them, I can't put my 2 girl dogs together. I can't. I'm not ready. I just can't. I don't at all want to even remotely witness even a little spat between the 2 girl dogs. I'm not ready. So I crate and rotate, and I don't actually crate. What I mean is I have baby gates in my house because when my kids were younger. So now what I do is, you know, I'll rotate my dogs. So no one's ever alone. They're always with someone. But, you know, I have to rotate them. So they're all like, they feel like they're part of the family and included, but it's a me problem. It's definitely a me problem. Malefica13 says, have you ever been out and about and met a subscriber and your kids were with you? I know it's very private and it's understandable, but when it's circumstances you can't help, like doing errands, how do you handle it? So my kids aren't a secret. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh my God, it's super top secret, and if like I see a subscriber, I throw a bag over their heads. No, I want to keep my kids private because this is a beauty channel. You know, this is a beauty channel, and it's a channel about me and my lifestyle and things like that, and 2 little boys have nothing to do on the internet. I keep them private because I want it to be their choice when they're old enough to say they want to be a part of it. I keep them private because it's a promise that I made their father that I would keep them as safe as I could, given the type of job that I have. So it's a non-issue here. Like, it's not a factor. But at the end of the day, I have been out countless times, even when I was still married, where a subscriber would see us, would see me with my whole family, would see the boys, and that's fine. Like, I'm like, yeah, these are my kids. Awesome, right? I feel like I've done a very good job at creating a community of people that choose to be here and that respect my privacy and that understand my need to keep certain things of my life private, not secret, private. You know, if you want to pry and if you want to find stuff out, everything's public record. It's all public record. But if you understand me and my need for privacy and why it's important for me, if you are a mother, if you are divorced, if you're in the same field as I am, you get it. So I feel like most of the times when I run into subscribers that see me with my kids or saw me with my family, they don't ask for a picture, you know, or anything like that. They know. But I don't get uncomfortable or like run away in the opposite direction or like hide my kids' faces or anything. Absolutely not. I feel like my kids are freaking amazing and very good looking, let me tell you. My best friend Sam says, if you had to choose to never eat tacos or sushi ever again, which would you sacrifice? And who would you murder for making you choose to begin with? Well, first of all, I wouldn't murder you because I would be lost without you, bestie. But tacos or sushi? Probably sushi, because like, let's say I can't determine my future and I end up living in like Wisconsin. They probably don't have the best sushi, right? Or if they do, it's probably very expensive. Wait, where is Wisconsin? Is it next to the ocean? It's not, right? Okay, let's say North Dakota. That's North Dakota. I moved to North Dakota and there's no ocean, so it needs to be flown in. At least here in Dallas, we have the Gulf, so it's a little more fresh, maybe. I don't know. So I would say sushi. There's more risk when eating sushi, and I'm not a big risk taker. And besides, I'm Mexican. If I said I would give up tacos, like, what kind of Mexican would I be? Maybe I will murder you for making me think about it. Joe Bubbles 02, your favorite dessert? Yes. I think the only dessert that I will not touch with a 10-foot pole is apple pie. In fact, there's only 3 things on this planet that I will not touch. Lobster, apple pie, and papaya. And papaya, sometimes I make an exception if it's like hidden in a smoothie. But other than that, flan, brownies, cake, all kinds of cake, cheesecake, donuts, sugar. I'm addicted to sugar, you guys. I am addicted to sugar. Brand new day. Brand new day. That's like a play on letters. Brand new day. Brand new day, I think? I don't know. How did you get over losing a pet? I'm releasing a little one back into the wild after treating it for a month and we're crying like a baby. You don't. You just get used to living with it. I lost my Chihuahua the day after I got married. And he was with me from when I was 9. And he lived almost 16 years. I cried so loud, my neighbor wanted to call the police because he thought I was getting murdered. But you don't get over it. You just learn to live with it, you know? And I look back at all the fond memories and how he taught me about loving and unconditional love and just loyalty. And he taught me how to be responsible. You know, I had to bottle feed him at 9 every 2 hours. He was the runt of the litter, and I got him when I was 3 weeks old, and he lived to be 16. Like, he was a fighter, you know, and you just learn to live with the sadness of not having them around, but you're just so grateful for the opportunity of having him share his life with you. I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, would you much rather go back in time and not having experienced that love and relationship? Or are you okay living with the fact that they're gone now, but you had the privilege of loving them and having them love you back? You know? Michaela Brown 14 says, what motivates you to have a great attitude even when you're having a crappy day? P.S. I love you. I love you too. I am a firm believer in it could be better, but it could be worse. You know, like at the end of the day, I'm like, wait. He didn't show up for a date. I got stood up. But I'm like, at least you had a date to go on. Or, oh my God, like I'm so tired. I don't feel good. I'm sick. Guess what? There's people that are actually really sick, you know? So at the end of the day, it could be better, but it could always be really worse. Queen Yeli 87 says, what type of dog is Ernesta? She is a healer mix. I'm pretty sure she's blue and red healer mix. But if you ask me, she's perfection. I call her Freckle Face, and she has like the best white mascara and like wing liner ever, you guys. She's perfection. K-Hun Latte, I hope I'm saying that right, says, how do you let go of a person you love? This is a hard question because I don't know if you're talking about a breakup. I don't know if you're talking about a loss, but I don't feel that you should ever have to let go. I don't believe there's any holding on to. If someone loves you, they choose to be there, right? So if we're talking about a breakup, it's not about letting go. It's about they chose not to be there. So for me, it's very easy to get over a breakup because ultimately it's their choice to not be with you, you know? And there's nothing clearer than water. You know what I mean? Like that is duly noted. It's obvious, you know? So if you don't want to be with me, like I had a guy that I really liked, you guys, really liked. We went on a few dates, and he said, you know, I'm not feeling very connected to you. And it just so happened that the reason he didn't feel connected to me was because I wasn't a big fan of sports. And as much as it hurt the idea of not being with someone that I thought I had a strong connection with, I thought I can't judge him for what he values or is important, right? So if he's being honest and direct with me about not feeling a connection with me and wants to walk away, chooses to walk away because he's not feeling a connection because of whatever is important to him, then I'm blessed because I didn't waste any time with someone that has different values or things that matter than me, right? Does that make sense? So, I don't think you have to let go. I think you shouldn't be holding on in the first place. I really hope it's about a breakup because it's about a loss. That's horrible advice. Shaking your confidence daily. Minnie Mouse or Daisy? Girl, You know it's Minnie. Definitely Minnie, because she's super sweet. I feel like Daisy's way too sassy. And as much as my sassy side comes out, I'm not that sassy. That would be Sam. Sam is totally Daisy. I'm definitely Minnie, because I'm like, oh, Mickey, ah! You know, like she's just, everything is so cute and bubbly. Maribel Reyes says, who's your celebrity crush? Oh, you guys are gonna judge me. I am in love with Liam Neeson. In love. Like if I saw Liam Neeson, I would run up to him and try and kiss him on the mouth. I'm just throwing it out there. So if you work security for Liam Neeson, remember this face, because if he's ever in Dallas, I will be the girl running at him, for the record. Amanda Brown says, if you found your true love again, would you consider having more children? I don't know. As much as I say that's like a me decision, it's my body, I'll do what I want. I feel like ultimately if I meet the love of my life, like I find love again and I'm like, wow, you want kids, it would be selfish of me to say no. I feel like it's a group decision. So I don't know. I mean, I'm very young. J-Lo had her twins at what, 41? I'm only 33. I don't know. At this point in my life, I feel like I owe it to my children to just be there for them, and everything else will happen if it's part of my plan. Okay, this is gonna be the last question I answer because it's actually a really special question to me. It says, it's from Krista Brooke, 1120. She said, if you had the opportunity, would you go back to teaching or stick with YouTube? So, the most important time in my life, or the time where I felt the most useful, the most important, the most needed, the most helpful, was when I was teaching. You know, and the funny thing is that these students needed me, but I feel like I needed them more. I learned so much about myself. You know, they taught me so much about myself. They taught me how to be patient. They taught me how to stay humble. They taught me how to have a thirst for life, to not let circumstances define you or guide you. I taught at an urban school. You know, a lot of these children were, you know, their only meal were their free and reduced lunch that they got twice a day at school. That was it. You know, a lot of these kids had kids of their own. So teaching there not only helped me grow as an adult and teach me such valuable lessons, it also made me feel like I was making a difference. It made me feel useful. It hurt oftentimes, you know, it made me feel helpless because I couldn't do more. But at the end of the day, I can understand why someone would, you know, continue teaching. Even though it's underappreciated, very underpaid, I can understand why someone would do it, make a career out of it, and retire from it. So ultimately, I feel like once my kids are at an age where they're self-sufficient, you know, they can take themselves to school, they can take care of their physiological needs on their own, like meals and getting to places they need to go to, it's something that I would definitely like to explore again. I didn't convert any of my teaching credentials or certifications to Texas. All of my stuff is for the state of California, and I'm pretty sure it's expired by now. So it would definitely be a lot of work for me to do that, but I'm not opposed to doing it. I yearn for the day where I could be in the front of a classroom again. It was just such a beautiful time in my life. In fact, if I hadn't met my ex and married him and gotten dragged off to Dallas, I'd probably still be there. Anyway, that is it for this Q&A. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a little bit different, a lot long, but I hope that you, I don't know, learned something cool, enjoyed yourselves, or I don't know, just laughed a little bit, maybe, cried a little, who knows? Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Just a little reminder, I am taking the rest of the year off. I will be back in January, but I am posting a vlog on Saturday, and that will be it until 2018. So I'm gonna miss you guys so much. I don't know when the next Q&A should be. I feel like I need to do these consistently, or rather kind of plan them ahead so you guys can have your questions ready. So I don't know. If you have a question that you've been burning or yearning to ask, leave it in the comment section below and maybe I'll use these questions in my next Q&A. But for now, you guys know what to do. If you found this video useful, entertaining, and learned something, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, this coffee break is over. Bye, guys.